After that, when I was 4, we moved to the Wynford Barracks in Merry Hill, and that's where I started school. And I remember walking to school on my first day, and there was one of the Beatles songs on. Might have been She Loves You, but whatever went to number 1 in 1963 August. So I started school there. We were there for about 2 years when Dad came out of the army, and then he moved as caretaker to Thorne Lighting in Dixon's Blazes Industrial Estate, Lamore Street. And that was a new build because it was Thorne Lighting. It was all electric. Whole house was electric. We didn't pay for a thing. Running hot water. We had this little hatch thing from the kitchen into the dining room. And it was right opposite the cemetery, the Southern Necropolis. So I remember sitting at night, I'm getting goosebumps, sitting at night looking out my bedroom window waiting to see something rise from a grave somewhere. Never did, but it was interesting. But we moved there when I was like 7, and we were there for, I'd say about 5 years, because my father was the caretaker for the building. So it was our tied flat, and the downstairs was the lighting showroom, and you could go into little booths, probably like that one, and you get all different effects of lighting to show off a daylight bulb or a warm white bulb or a UV bulb. And there was a drop floor in that, and I remember with my friend, it was like there was a ledge, and you went down to this drop wooden floor, and I remember roller skating with my friends on it, because it was the perfect place for roller skating.
So did you have friends within the building?
Not within the building, because we were the only people who lived there, because it was a warehouse and offices, and then there was other people, obviously other businesses further up. There was British Oxygen. I seem to remember them going on fire quite often. But I had friends from school that used to come round, because obviously there was a paved area out the back, which was probably, it had concrete walls round it on 3 sides, a paved area, perfect for playing tennis up against the wall. So I had this secure outside space, this secure inside space, so it was like the playdate hub. I remember we used to use the canteen up there for my birthday parties. I remember a birthday party in there and all my friends sitting around this long table and the cake with the candles. But it was a good place to live. So we didn't have to pay for anything. Dad, obviously, he was paid for that job. Mum was out working part-time. That was just interesting. It was very modern, very square, but very, very comfortable. I mean, even to this day I can remember the layout of it, where it fitted into sort of the upstairs of that building. I remember my very first phone number, 4297070. First time we'd ever had an inside phone. And it was just like, everything was there. And it was one of the girls from the offices downstairs that taught me how to touch type, at about the age of 9, on a really old clattery typewriter.
And so your friends round about, where were they living?
A lot of them lived at that point in the tenements, on Lamore Street, Caledonia Road, Crown Street, because it was all my friends from school. And the school catchment area was the whole of that part of the Gorbals. Later on I have memories of going into friends from secondary schools' homes, but not for primary. No, I think because mine was Playdate Central. It was like, she's got this great outside space, she's got this great inside space, we've got the canteen we can have parties in. But that was like, as I say, we're between about when I was 7 and 12, so